You're not going to be able to stand there. I think
No,
you should go
especially my-
outside the fence.
On the other side?
Maybe go outside the fence.
Fuck. Moses. Good God.
Get.
I knew it was you. I can hear the radio going.
Oh, little horses and hockey.
So, I saw a bit of CNN yesterday about Joe Manchin telling the world basically he's a no. And I know he's
He just, in that one thing, he just wiped out the Democrats.
yes,
completely.
absolutely. And
Democrats.
when is he up for election in 2024?
Oh fuck! It don't matter because if he sinks Biden's bill, the Democrats are finished.
Yeah, they are.
It's all over.
Yeah,
So they don't need Republicans. They have Joe.
yeah. Well, he should have
I
been a
mean,
re-
let's put it this way, Art. What you're seeing is a failed experiment in the United States. The United States is like, and I say this in all seriousness, very close to civil war. Even people in their armies are Trumpers.
yeah,
Look at that one governor when Biden a couple of weeks ago ordered all the National Guard to be vaccinated. That one general from that one state said, "Fuck you! You're not my boss. It's the governor." That's never happened.
no,
Like so, what you're going to see is, you know what most people don't understand is that for the vast majority of Canada's history, it's liberals who have ruled, not conservatives.
mm-hmm.
And in the United States, conservatives have not won a majority vote for over 30 years for president. Democrats only.
Mm-hmm.
They know that if they continue to vote, the conservatives here in Canada and everywhere else, people don't. Conservatism is not a great populist position.
Well, look at Germany. What's going on there? Right?
Well,
Yeah.
conservatives are rising their heads because they see what's going to happen. People keep voting in their own interests. Conservatism dies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because people want more rights, they want bigger shares of the economy, on and on and on. Well, the conservatives are looking at that and going, we're going to lose because people, if they have the democratic right to vote themselves that stuff, we can't hold power. Because remember, most conservatism is backed by the biggest money in the country.
Of course.
And they fund all that shit. In fact, I just see the Koch brothers when they had to make their income tax declarations the other day on the public record. Last year spent over $800,000 funding groups that opposed global warming. 800 grand. So yeah, I mean, so what we're in a worldwide battle with conservatism, and Putin and all the autocrats are getting together against the Democrats.
Yeah, but isn't this? I'm just throwing this out there. I know the Republicans, they can't vote against. They have to vote against that bill in the Senate. But there's 6 senators in the Republican Party that are retiring in next year. Wouldn't it be awesome, again, wishful thinking, if a couple of those Republicans said, look, if we look at this goodwill bill, we think it's great for the people, it's good for healthcare, education, and climate change. Let's just vote for it, and if they fuck us up, who cares? We're retiring. That'll stick that'll stick a boot up Joe's ass so far up.
Well, the problem is that, you see, people, let's put it this way, it's not the goal of the conservatives to defeat the Democrats. It's to defeat the system that allows the Democrats to live. They're not interested in it's democracy the way it's organized they don't want. That's why they want to have the rule of law. Law is what you say it is, not the rule of law.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
If they don't like laws, they just break them.
Sure.
And and right now, Trump knows he's getting close to an indictment. So today he tries to sue the state of New York for biased prosecution, and I'm laughing going, okay, well, that case is going nowhere. But the fact of the matter is, what they can't get by law, they want to get by mob rule. So last night, Donald Trump Jr. got up and made a big speech to a bunch of rednecks and said, hey, we're too passive, we're too peaceful, we got to get out and kill somebody. That's what he's saying. We got to revolt because they know that if it's about voting,
They'll lose.
they lose, and they have lost for over 30 years. For over 31 years, no Republican candidate for president has ever received the majority vote. Only Democrats do that. The Kennedys, you know, the
Yeah.
Barack Obamas, and on and on.
So what do you see happening now?
Well, I see a complete dissolution of democratic structures in the United States, and I can actually see, you know, that there'll be armed insurrection in some sectors of the state, especially the southern states.
I think so too.
And one of the biggest tests is going to be the indictment of Trump, because that's obviously coming down. You don't have a grand jury meeting for 3 days a week for 3 months and not indict somebody. I mean, fuck, that's impossible.
Yeah.
So he's going to be indicted, and of course that's why the Republicans have been taking this. Well, there was no violence at the Capitol; those were just good patriots, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And because they will call for violence if Trump's arrested, for instance.
Well, they gotta, yeah, like you said.
And then generals and police captains and a whole bunch of other people are going to have to really figure out, do I want to live in a country ruled by the rule of law or the rule of whim? Because whatever decision you make, and here's one thing the right-wingers better understand. I said this to an American friend of mine the other day.
Yep.
The right likes to run around threatening violence all the time because they aren't popular, you know what I mean? So they know they can't win the populist votes.
Of course.
But I said, don't ever, once you let loose the Hydra in the left, if the left starts killing you crazy fuckers, what do you think's gonna happen? There's no law. Once you start that shit, law does not exist.
No.
So does Donald Trump Jr. think he's gonna be safe?
Yeah.
You know, you dumb
Yeah, but
fucker.
a lot of these insurrectionists, a lot of these militia groups, they're all, I mean, I know some of them are veterans, but a lot of them they look tough. But as soon as they hear a gunshot, they'll be shitting their pants.
Buddy, did you see that mob at the White House? Are you telling me that's the army that we gotta fight? We'll take them easy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Fuck them. I mean, you know, I say to those cocksuckers, quit slapping your lips together and fire on Fort Sumter, you cowardly prick.
Yeah.
Because the minute you do that, the rule of law is over and the rule of the street takes over, and it's legal for me to kill you now.
Well, okay, so,
You know, it's just that simple. Like, if that's the world you want to live in, motherfucker,
Well,
I mean, are you stupid?
yeah, you know, you could hire a good professional snipers and take them out one-on-one. Right?
I mean, they don't know what they're asking for. Boy, you know, you don't get the toothpaste back in the bottle. Once you say, okay, there's no law, it's just about who's the strongest, you lose everything.
Yep.
Capitalism can't function like that.
No, and they'll
Are you
lose
kidding?
money. And guess what? They're not making, nobody's going to get any money.
Exactly. I mean, trillions of dollars will go down the road. Like, is that the world you want? I mean, that's why Bay Street, or, you know, Wall Street supports Biden.
Yeah.
Because they know without law, you can't make
I
money.
don't know. Well, you know, Bill Maher, as you watch, I don't know if you see him every Friday night, he warned about this shit for a year, over years.
Oh,
He saw it coming.
of course it's been coming. I mean, come on, you don't get rid of the rule of law.
And Chris Cuomo had him on for a whole hour a few weeks back, and he's warning again. Bill Maher's warning.
Hey,
The
buddy,
Democrats are all pussies.
Go online, there's a letter from 3 retired American generals, all saying we're really close to civil war because we've got a lot of fractures in the military, you know, who are buying this Trump shit.
Yeah,
And we're closer to civil war than you know. That's what these 3 generals are saying.
yeah,
But I mean, it's obvious to anybody who's watching.
yeah. No, but you wonder what's the percentage of the American military they're all Trumpers.
Well, buddy, figure out the demographic of how they vote in the United States, and that's it.
Yeah,
And by the way, most people, you know, like most paramilitary forces are right-wingers.
yeah. Of course they are.
What do you want?
She's wants something.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's crazy because she always runs in the tent and begs me to get my gun.
For a gun for the coyotes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because so whenever I shoot my gun, well, I shoot it at coyotes. So she thinks, okay, get some coyotes, get that gun out here.
oh. She wants to go.
She loves
You know how long
the gun.
I've been riding for?
About 22 minutes. Don't forget, I got a timer now on the video.
Gee, the arena's nice now.
Well, it's a lot better than it was
Oh,
this
yeah, no,
morning.
it's nice.
But again, -4 tonight. Wow,
Yep.
it's not going to be good tomorrow. And then they're saying for wet snow tomorrow night.
Not quite as much of a witch today
Yeah,
as last week, right?
yeah.
Do you think she's still a witch today or not? Like
No, a little bit at first, but she's
Huh?
a little bit at first, but you worked her through it.
Oh, walk up.
Anyhow, yeah, it's like I say, I don't watch CNN all that
But, you know,
much.
it's not
I,
even a-
I'd watch it, you know, either with Wolf Blitzer. You know, he's a seasoned anchor guy, and you know, sometimes Aaron Brunette I listen to, but it's mostly a repeat, right? So unless there's really breaking news, it's all
yeah, no,
it's all the
just
same.
keep running it through. But I
Yeah.
mean, the bottom line is, it's a globe. What's happening? It's happening on a global scale.
Yes, it is.
Conservatism versus
Yes.
modernity. I
Yeah.
call it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, it's happening here too. Look at O'Toole and his Conservative Party.
well, yeah, but I mean, Canada, everything's 10 times more magnified. So these guys are 10 times smaller than the Republicans. You know what I mean? Like these guys in Canada, and their problem is Canadians are overtly quote small L liberal minded.
Yeah.
They don't want conservative
No.
ideology and shit. And,
Well, they saw what Harper did, and they didn't like
well,
it.
exactly. They saw that, and they saw what's his name, Mike Harris in fucking Ontario. That fucking
Yeah,
really-
that.
Oh
Whoa,
boy, he was a scary fucker.
no kidding.
Trump would have loved him.
Oh yeah, he's right hand man.
And but yeah, so Canadians, especially younger people, they just reject that shit right out of the.
So, do you think they have the balls to indict Trump?
There's no question that they have the balls to indict him.
Well, they have to do it. They can't let him go.
I mean, let me put it this way: if you let him go, there is no law.
No, and you know what? He always said, you know, he always thought he was above the law. And he reminds me of Gotti, who always
Oh
thought.
yeah, exactly. The
That's-
Teflon Don.
But one day, yeah, somebody's going to turn on him. Well, you know what happened is some of the documents were turned over the subpoena to the committee. You know, all those emails and texts that were going back and forth while the insurrection and post-insurrection to Mark Meadows.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, I mean, but I mean, they've got him on a whole bunch of civil shit that are, racketeering and, I mean, when you see, when you see how he organized that Trump organization, it's just racketeering. That's
Well,
what that was.
it was
and
like a-
everybody was in on the graft, right?
Yeah.
Like his accountants were part of the crime.
Yeah, but a lot of them end up in jail.
Well, they will once the trials are on. Come on. But I mean, yeah, it's,
And that one judge, I think she was a conservative judge, gave that guy 5-year sentence for spraying fire hydrant.
yeah. I love that one judge. I think that was the judge who said,
Was that the Republican? I thought she was. I'm not sure. But it was a woman. She came down hard on him.
well, yeah, and then there was that other couple who the prosecutors advised house arrest,
Yes.
and she said, fuck you to the prosecutor and
Yeah.
gave Meeks 45 days.
Yeah, there you go. Even
And said-
that's lenient.
Well, yeah, and that was her position. Because the prosecutor said, well, okay, they didn't take part in any violence or any fucking thing. And she goes, the judge said, basically, fuck you, they climbed through a broken window.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, that's worth 45 days in prison. Okay, and then probation, 2 years, and on and on. Yeah,
And then all these guys now, they know what's going on. They thought, okay, let's just plead guilty. You know, hopefully the judge will see that we accept the responsibility and give us a lighter sentence. And the judge, in her statement, says, no, that's not
well,
happening.
no, and you're right. They're holding their heavy
Yeah,
fire for the
yeah.
guys that were
Yeah.
used weapons, right?
Yeah.
Of which there's quite a few.
Yeah.
So we're talking about there, and the guys who are really going to go down hard are those oath keepers, right?
Oh, the gatekeepers.
The gatekeepers. Those
Yeah.
fuckers are going to do 10.
And you-
because
well, they have to.
They organized their conspiracy. They had a cache of weapons on a boat in case things went south.
Yeah.
Like they
yeah,
were.
no, yeah.
That was a real conspiracy. Like,
Well, these are actually terrorists.
oh yeah,
just waiting
domestic
to happen.
terrorists, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they do. They're thieves, and they're out to steal democracy, and they're doing a good job of it.
They are. They're well organized. and they got a good solid base on their websites.
I mean, the Democrats have got no future under Biden and Harris because Biden's fucking near 80 years old.
I know. Well,
and
who-
Harris is never going to be
No,
a
she's not going to
president.
do it. Who do you think's going to take over Biden's for the running?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that he won't be the candidate.
No, but who do you think is a suitable candidate to take over the reins?
Well, for me, if I had my choice of one American to be president, it'd be President Katie Porter.
Okay.
That brilliant. You know Katie Porter?
Yeah, I've heard of her, but I don't know her that well.
Oh man, she's got the mind.
So she's an intellect, basically.
Well, she's more than that. She is. First of all, she is a high-level professor, corporate litigator. She takes on the highest lawyers in the country, you know, for Amazon and all that. She's a corporate litigator.
Oh, yeah, I know who she is. Yeah, I see. Yeah, okay.
Her
Yeah.
appearances on YouTube are
Yeah.
legendary. Yeah, she takes apart the heads of Exxon and because she knows everything. You know what I mean? And so when they try and get by her, anyway, she has kids, and her style is just incredible. President Katie, I would love her. Anyway,
Okay, this woman, now you're just saying it, reminds me of going back to Yellowstone. Kevin Costner's daughter, she's a lawyer. She reminds me of her, of what you just referred to her. She could take down any big fucking Wall Street company trying to take over their business.
But Katie does
Oh.
it for real. Just go on YouTube and watch Katie Porter.
Okay.
Holy shit, she's a star. And I mean, she's plain looking housewife looking woman. She's not Kamala Harris, all the
yeah.
vacation. But she's got her shit together. And I could see her being a president going, yeah, okay, this is a woman who can organize the office.
Yeah.
She's the brightest person in the room. And she's so practical. So reporters said to her, wow, your litigating style is quite something or other, you know. And Katie Porter goes, well, I don't have time to fool around. She says, I've got one kid peeing in the corner of the house, the other one's running around with a snotty nose and all that. I don't have time for bullshit. Okay.
She's like a no-nonsense kind of woman,
Very no, not, but I mean, she can talk highfalutin. I mean, again,
if she wants to.
oh shit, I mean, watch her.
I will,
Like
I
I,
will.
said, go home and put
Yeah, I
on
will.
Katie Porter.
Yeah.
The last guy she takes apart is the head of Pfizer or something. Just fucking brutalizing. See, look at this shit. He can
Well, she senses something down there,
I
right?
can see a coyote from
Yeah.
a million miles.
Well, that's what I'm
away.
saying. She senses there's something down there.
And if I let it, yeah, when she comes
Some
up
coyotes.
like this,
See? Some coyotes skulking down there.
and if I was to let her go now, she boils out there.
Yeah, 'cause she'd be like a fucking bullet.
Well, she is, and she and you know what? The minute they see her coming, they take off. They go, okay, she wants combat. I said to a friend of mine, I wish one of them would stop and fight one day and just see how much she's got in her. Because like I said,
Yeah.
you know that poor
She'd be
cat-
like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Well, if you haven't seen her on the other end,
Yeah.
it's insane. And if you pull her out of a fight when it's not over,
Yeah.
she screams her head off. Holy, she's just psycho for it. Let's have seen her going, holy shit.
Fuck.
But
Yeah.
you know, she goes
I
right
don't know
off the
that
deep
dog.
end. She's all terrier that way. I appreciate her that way. She's her mother's daughter, you know, and that's what they're bred for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But
But look, she's jumping. She jumped pretty good.
well, look at that. She doesn't have a waist. She's all muscle.
I know she's at a
Everything
prime.
on
Like
her.
I said earlier, she's
Oh,
at
yeah,
a
no.
prime. Look at her.
The bulldog
Look at her back
behind.
legs.
Oh, yeah, she's
Like
a
a fucking bulldog. Yeah.
They are. They're bred to
Just-
bulls.
yeah,
They're
of
bred
course.
to terriers.
Of course.
You don't spend 90 years. These dogs for 90 years were handled by the Devon and Yorkshire Badger Club. So what do you think they're doing? They're breeding pitties to these things and little
Yeah,
bulldogs,
yeah,
and but they can never be bigger than the hole.
Where they can get through.
So
Where they
for
can climb
100,
in.
well, they can never be bigger than a man's thumb and four fingers touching behind the front legs.
Okay.
If you can't touch your fingers, they can't be put go in the boat
Yeah.
because then they're too big for the hole, the badger hole.
Yeah. Well, are they a recognized breed, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. The Devon and Yorkshire Badger Club handled them the first 90 years, from the 1850s on up into the 1900s.
Yeah.
Well, by that time, once you're going down badger holes for 90 years, you're a homicidal maniac. Because they only bred the ones that went, quote, went to the den.
Yeah,
Because the badger hole's here, but the den's 30 feet over there.
yeah, yeah. And you
The
could,
dog has to go there.
yeah,
There's not room for both of them to cross, and the dog has to hold that badger in that den till the farmer digs them out.
yeah,
Well, that could be hours, and sometimes they can be in there 7 hours. That's why the stamina on these dogs is so incredible.
yeah.
They can be on the high drive, adrenaline grind for hours at a time. And you know what? They love it. So there's no thinking of, Mindy never thinks about the consequences. What if I caught that coyote? They don't even think about that
No,
because they're just genetically driven to get it.
yeah,
After that, well, the rest is just easy. It's just combat kind of thing, you know
sure,
what I mean?
sure.
That's
Well-
why I said to a friend of mine, I said, you know what the world couldn't stand? 60-pound Jack Russell Terrier.
Holy,
You couldn't have that fucking dog. Holy fucking shit.
that'll be the newest breed.
No.
Could you imagine?
Oh, no, you couldn't.
Doing
I
all
couldn't
your-
imagine that fucking dog. No.
Holy
No.
shit.
It's crime against humanity. Nope, I've looked at that and holy shit. But you know, I used to love Mindy because your dogs didn't know much about playing when I went to your house.
Yeah.
Like playing with another dog.
Yeah.
That wasn't in their culture.
No,
Well, of course, Mindy, she wanted to play, and so she finally got to the point with Apollo where she would take off on a dead run going 100 miles an hour, and she'd jump in the air and turn sideways like this and bounce off his body.
no.
And he would go insane to kill her. But she's running 30 miles an hour when she hits him, kind of thing, like
Yeah,
chasing.
well, you just do the math, the calculations, the velocity.
Well, there was 5 trees in your yard, plus a hole under the fence, plus the picnic table.
Yeah.
So he could not catch her. To
Oh no,
save
she can
his
move.
soul.
She can stop on a dime.
Oh.
And,
Well, she could decapitate him running under the
I could just imagine her in an obstacle course competition.
Oh
Her-
yeah, no.
I mean, she'd be winning. She'd win all the time.
She can scramble,
But no, she would win. She would just win hands down.
but Apollo would come after her, and it wasn't like he's growling like I'm having fun. It's like, well, I fucking catch you, I'm gonna beat your brains in so bad. But of course, he could never catch her in there, and of course, then they would stop.
Yeah.
And then Mindy would stand on her hind legs and put her legs on his neck, and then mouth fight him, kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And they
yeah,
would
yeah,
do
yeah.
that, and I would laugh my head off, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, poor old Atlas would just sit and look at the two of them, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
He's an observer. He'll
Oh,
lie
yeah.
down. He never really gets involved.
But those two, yeah, they had a lot of fun together. And remember one day, this poor rabbit jumped out of the wood pile in the field.
Oh
Of
yeah.
course, that was
So that's prey, right there.
Mindy had it before it hit the fence, and it was dead instantaneously. And poor Apollo ran up to look at it, and fucking Mindy, she came off and hit him right in the head and was all over him, and he backed right off. Went, all right, you're rabbit. He said, okay. Yeah, she goes, I will fucking die before you take this rabbit, kind of thing. But I felt so goddamn bad for that rabbit.
Yeah, I wonder how they're doing because they had what, 3 of them?
2.
2. Okay, 2. There were 3, but anyway.
A black and white
Black
one,
one,
and a
yeah.
complete
Those
black
are
one.
they were very aged rabbits.
Well, it really broke my heart because, I mean, shit, I
Yeah,
kept
I
trying
know.
to trap the one.
Well, you know, what can you do? I mean, they can survive outside somewhat. They've had all the opportunity to. So
Oh, shit.
they'll just keep hanging
I mean-
around the
I mean,
barn.
when I went by, when I'd go out, they would be with wild rabbits,
Yeah,
like sitting with wild rabbits.
yeah.
Now, the thing that broke my heart though was that they did come into the barn at night in the dark when I went in there
Yeah,
and would stand there while I threw food at them. You know, and
yeah,
I'd
yeah.
give-
They expect it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, they weren't. It's not like I could go pet them, but they would come right up to the door.
And did you see a lot of rats there too? Wild rats?
Oh yeah, Mindy was on. Mindy lived in the hen house. Lived in that because there was a hole in the corner.
Yeah.
She would crawl right in that hen house, and she just lived in there.
Yeah,
And when they come, and she'd just sit there for hours. And
Just
when they
waiting
come out,
for 'em.
boom,
gone.
she'd get one kind of thing. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they got so smart there. She'd run between the barn and the hen house, the barn and the hen house.
yeah. As soon as that sun goes down, another couple hours, you can feel the cold coming.
Oh yeah, no, if it's like this right now, oh yeah. But you know what?
Have you got your stuff all hooked up? or not yet?
Well, I've got a propane heater and a kerosene furnace,
Yeah.
but I don't use them till night. Like I don't even put the heat on in the daytime.
No.
You know, I don't waste any heat
No.
in the
No.
daytime.
No.
But later tonight, I mean, I'll put on the kerosene heater is very nice.
Yep. That's nice.
It puts out a real nice heat, like a wood heat.
Yep.
And I light it outside and I turn it off outside so it never smells of kerosene. It's just a nice clean heat. And then I've got
And you sleep good at night there, Mike?
Oh yeah, Christ, yeah. No, absolutely.
And Minnie's right beside you there?
Yeah, but she's on a 40-foot cord tied up all the time.
Yeah, you were saying, yeah.
Because she will bolt out that door in the middle of the night. You know, and the thing is, I go out and shoot, right,
Okay.
with my gun. And Art, when I shoot that gun,
Yeah.
they run like motherfuckers. Like, they're so smart. Like,
Is it loud?
well, it cracks.
Okay, yeah.
It's a CO2 fed
Oh, okay, yeah.
German steel $400 pistol. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a plastic gun.
No.
And but it cracks, and when that cracks, well, and they hear the zip over their head. I don't shoot at them. I don't want to hit one in the eye or something.
Yeah. But, you know, you think these coyotes would learn not to come around that
Oh, they
area.
do. They're very terrified of me and that gun. I mean, they don't come. They the other days they go along the fence line from Hearst, that forest.
Yeah,
They never come in the field here anymore because they know I can get them with the gun.
yeah,
But they walk along the other side of that fence.
yeah.
And a couple of times they've been trapped inside this guy's fence, and once they get in there, they can't find the way out.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so then the only way out is over in that gate, right in that corner. Other than that, they can't get out any other way, and so
Okay.
that took them a while to find out, okay, there's only one way in and out of here,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
get
yeah,
trapped
yeah.
in there, right?
Yeah,
Mindy
yeah.
even got caught out there a couple of times going, I gotta get out.
Is that it?
What time is it? How long have I been riding?
About 40 minutes.
Have I been 40?
Yeah, close to 40.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, I'm just
Probably
asking.
gonna be really shitty on Friday anyway, or the rest of the week anyway, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
it'll be snowing.
Is it supposed to get
Well-
really cold this week?
Well, after